I love it. Is our other queen coming today?
You know, I don't know because my guess is no, because we were Instagramming at like she Instagrammed me at like 2:10 a.m. that they were on their way to Houston Hobby.
Oh,
So I don't,
God
yeah,
bless
I
them. Our
can't
TSA
imagine.
agents at Houston Hobby.
Well, that's so we were in, it was on Houston Hobby was on Good Morning America this morning because of how bad TSA has been.
Yeah. And then they
Really?
all went to George Bush. So I'm grateful that I wasn't flying out of Hobby. Bush,
Yeah.
I'm not going to make it about me, but I'll say this. Sunday was one of the worst days I've had in years. It was
Oh
a
gosh, Meredith.
horrific travel. I travel all the time. It was 10 out of 10 horrific.
What
Anyway,
is going on?
well, I think
Well, the
TSA
government
is not
shut
being, yeah,
down.
the government shut down. TSA is not being paid. So, and then I think was it on Sunday or Saturday?
Oh, the
Apparently,
thunder, all the storms.
well, the TSA agents walked out of Hobby and there were like two
Oh,
working. And my suspicion, based on what I saw and experienced, is that those people then came over to Bush because at one point I was moving between terminals on the train that I guess at Bush is above ground. So my
yeah.
point is you can see below. The line just to get into the airport was about to wrap around the building, like snaking out.
Wow.
Like it was nuts when I got in there when Kate dropped me off, nuts. But when I was up and you couldn't even get in the airport because there was a line for whether agent assist, bag drop, kiosk, whatever people are, it was about to wrap around the building. We were all like, oh my, it was awful. Anyway,
Oh, yeah, that was
Wow.
they showed yesterday at Hobby was exactly what you just said, Meredith, on out the like where you normally pick up passengers, like cars pick up passengers. The line was all the way out to like where the Uber zone usually is,
yes, yeah, yes,
which is
yeah.
like I don't even understand how that could happen because that is the lower level. Like I don't even understand. Like to me, to even have a line out there for check-in doesn't make any sense because that's not even where the check-in
Yep.
is.
Yeah, yeah.
So, yeah, I'm
It's
grateful that I'm not traveling this week. I am traveling next week.
let's hope it all gets squared away because I mean it,
So
I
did you
have no
catch your
words.
flight?
I did. I was on a confirmed ticket. It's honestly, it's one of those angers. It's not even like, oh, Meredith has a funny story. She was a little stressed out Sunday. It's not even, it would take me to a dark place. And Ethan, it's not he was fine the whole time. He did need to nap on the flight,
Hmm.
screamed bloody murder for the first 30 to 45. I mean, I'm talking about like, and
Oh
normally if
my
I
gosh.
hadn't been that activated getting there, I'd have been
Yeah,
like, this
sure.
sucks, but here we are.
Yeah.
At one point, actually a couple points, I have a blanket to kind of cover him so I can block out light and where I'm doing this in here and trying and he's screaming the house down.
Yeah.
I start I mean not just like a little cry. I am emoting and I can't stop. I'm like, well, this is what my body has to do because this has been an awful day. Meanwhile, my father-in-law was so kind to like buy a $400 last minute ticket to get me home. So I don't want to sound like I will never do that again. Cause I'm like, thank you so much. I can't talk about this for a while because I am at my wit's end. I mean, even they're like, how are you? I know it's been a day. And I was like, it's been so bad. I can't talk about it. Like
Yeah.
this isn't like I cannot talk about it. So anyway, bless everybody traveling out of Houston.
Woo!
Thank you for
Yeah.
letting me get
Mm.
that off my chest.
No.
Whew.
Oh my gosh.
Welcome back home.
That's okay.
Yes. But it's actually
Yeah.
a great segue into our topic today, which is
Yeah.
travel. Yeah.
Okay. I
Um,
might have to stay silent. Keep going.
no, it's okay. Yeah. Well, okay, you talking about how you had Ethan under the blanket and you were crying and
Yeah.
because I think
Sure.
again,
Yeah.
we've all been there.
Yes.
But did anybody check on you, Merritt? Like, did anybody was anybody like any passengers like trying to like help you or?
Well, I mean, the gal that we sat next to was really sweet. She is a young student from Quebec City, which now I want to go visit. She's studying to be a teacher, so she was sweet with Ethan at some moments. But I think at some point, like if I had a woman next to me crying, I don't know what I would do because I'm somebody who's like, just don't look at me. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like I'm just don't even look at me.
give me my
So
moment.
she was
Yeah,
probably and I was under a blanket. So they literally, and so they were probably like, she's doing everything she can. The last thing she needs is somebody in her face,
yeah. Mm.
I don't know, man. I locked myself in the bathroom for a while to try to like diffuse the noise, but that I didn't want to lock the bathroom because it has the light bright, but I'm trying to get him to sleep. So then I'm in there with the
Oh.
blanket covering the blue light that's there when it's unlocked. And then people are walking in, not their fault. Of course they are. They think it's an unlocked bathroom. And he's screaming bloody murder. I'm like, I'm like this. It was just, and that
Yeah.
part again wouldn't have been fun. But
Yeah.
I could have handled that because I've handled that before on a long flight to Hawaii.
Yes.
We're like, well, this is just where we are. We got to rock them. And it is what it is, folks.
Yeah.
Like, put on your headphones and deal with it.
Yep.
But because of the time we had at Bush at the airport, I was at my absolute breaking point. And it was my body's only response was the tears are flowing. Here they come. All you can do is welcome them. Lean in, sister, you know? So anyway,
Yeah.
okay.
Yep.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Get Mom Ready. We are so happy you're here today. You have with you 3 of the 4. We've switched it up for you today. We have Holly back in the saddle, me, Meredith, and Anna. Hannah is traveling with all the children and hopefully a husband. My child is screaming. I hope he goes back down. That's what I just heard. Okay, that's okay. The show must go on. We'll see if I need to go get him. All that to say, we don't have Hannah with us today. We miss you, but it's a perfect segue because today we're actually talking about travel. So Holly has been, as you guys have heard, moving and grooving, moving and shaking. So would love to hear all about that. Where are you taking us today, Holly, in terms of travel? Oh, before we get into that, friendly reminder from the house. The house today is me. That you can and should listen, not can and should. You can listen to Get Mom Ready anywhere you're listening to podcasts. You're listening to it now. Maybe you're watching us on getmomready.com. Maybe you're listening there. Just know whether you're an Apple girly, a Spotify girly, a whatever else girly, you can listen to us there. You can watch us. And we encourage you always to like and subscribe and share because quite transparently, it helps the podcast grow. And we love these conversations and we want this community of women to keep growing. So do that if you feel so inclined. We'd love it. And Holly, where are we headed today in terms of travel?
Yes, we are headed back to about 6 weeks ago when I started about 6 weeks of lots of travel. And so I just wanted to kind of share my journey because I really tried to adopt a spirit of experimentation over the last 6 weeks and tried several different things. And I just by no means, am an expert on this. But I'm proud of myself for adopting the spirit of experimentation and just kind of wanted to share what went well, what didn't, what I would have changed, etc. So that, again, my passion is just that moms can see lots of different options and that there's not a prescriptive way of doing anything as a mom. But I do think it's just helpful to adopt an attitude of experimentation and try things on, take it off, put something else on, etc. So yeah, kind of want to just share my story today of what my journey has looked like over the last 6 weeks and what I've learned along the way.
Is this a mix of traveling with Iris, without? Is this like we've experimented in the context of with and without traveling with the kid, right? Okay.
Yep, exactly. Yeah. So if we go back to the end of January, so one of my clients is, well, I guess quick recap. Most of you probably know this, but I'm the founder of the Ready Network, a network of coaches that helps leaders and teams get ready for growth. And then one of my clients is an organization called Leading Smart, which actually Anna and I both get to, sorry, got to respond to a quick text. Anna and I both get to serve as a client. And what we do is we focus specifically on the church market. So we serve lots of pastors and church leaders. And one of those things is through these gatherings that we get to do. And I love doing these gatherings. Like, it is so life-giving. Anytime I can be with leaders, facilitating conversations about how we can grow as leaders that ultimately helps our organizations grow, I just love them so much. And so we do 4 a year. We do 3 in the winter/spring. It's really winter, but I call them spring because a winter gathering just sounds cold and yuck. A spring gathering sounds warm and exciting, but they really are in this season of winter. Anyway, and then we do 1 in the fall. So we had 1 the last week of January in Palm Springs, California, which, I mean, you don't have to convince me to, get on a plane and go to Palm Springs. And then we had another one the first week of February in the same different hotel, but still in Palm Springs. And what was fun was the in-between, Anna got to join us and we had a team retreat. Yes,
so fun.
It was
I didn't
so
know
fun.
that. That's amazing.
Yeah, this client was super generous and brought all of our, his core team to Palm Springs in the in-between. And we did a kind of a retreat for the first time ever because we experienced a lot of growth last year and we're just celebrating that. And it was really fun. So that was an 8-day, I think it was 8 days. Or was it 12? Hold on. No, that was 8.
Time.
I was gone for 8 days. So I left on a Wednesday and then I didn't get back until the next Wednesday night.
Okay.
And then, yeah, let me give you kind of a recap of like the full travel picture and then I'll kind of break them down. So, anyway, so that was 8 days. So then I got back on a Wednesday and then was here, I think, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And then Sunday night, I flew out to the middle of nowhere, Missouri. Literally flew into St. Louis. I'm pulling up my calendar to make sure, like, yeah. Oh, wait. Hold on, sorry. I don't even remember where I was.
You're like a touring artist or comedian. Like, where have I been for the last 12
where in
weeks?
the world is Holly?
Literally.
Yeah, that's how it felt. Okay, yeah. So January 28th through the 4th were those two gatherings. Then I was home for the 5th, 6th, 7th, and then on the 8th, I flew out to the middle of nowhere, Missouri, was there the 9th, the 10th, and then I flew home late on the 10th. So this is one of those moments where, like, pre being a mom, I would have just flown from Missouri. I would have flown from St. Louis to Raleigh-Durham, North Carolina, because that was what would make sense. Well, now that I'm a mom, I got home at like 11 p.m. on, probably like got into bed at like 11 or midnight on Tuesday night so that I could see Iris in the morning on Wednesday, walked her to school. We got to hang out for a little bit, took her to school, and then went straight back to the airport so that I could fly out so it's just one of those, but that was like one of those moments where it was like, I'm making a choice to do the inconvenient thing so that I can prioritize being able to see my daughter, And so then I was in North Carolina for Wednesday night, Thursday night, got back Friday night. And then I was here for a week. And then I guess I was here for like a week and a half, it looks like. Then flew. And this was where I made the decision to bring Iris with me. So I used points to fly my mom, who's retired, down to meet me in Florida. And Iris and I flew to Florida. And we were, this was me facilitating one of those Leading Smart gatherings that I was kind of describing. And what a treat. I mean, we stay at really nice hotels for these. And so we were on the water in Florida, like literally on the beach. And it was a super family friendly resort. They literally had like a kid area where my mom could take her, where they had like arts and crafts and stuff. They had a, turtle, which was like one of the workers in like a costume, come out every night at they had a shuttle where my mom and Iris got to zoom over to the aquarium. I mean, it was like, could not have been a better setup. And I didn't even realize how family friendly the resort was until we got there. And so we were there from Tuesday to Friday. And then then we were here Friday night, Saturday night, and then I flew out Sunday to California, was in California Sunday night, Monday night, got back from California on Tuesday night of last week. And then Wednesday of last week. So yeah, literally I think I went to sleep at 12:30 a.m. Like got back to the house like 12, went to sleep at 12:30. And then I had a really big event that I'd been working towards of 25 executive leaders here in Houston that started at 8:30. And so I was originally going to take a red eye back from California, but I was really nervous that if any delays happened, I'd literally only have a 3-hour window from 5:30 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. So I took a 6:30 p.m. flight out of LAX to get here. But again, was able to take Iris, was able to see her, take her to school before going to my event on Wednesday morning. So I just want to give that context because, we all met a couple days ago, and one of the themes that came out of, how we're continuing to talk about Get Mom Ready was modernizing the pressures of modern motherhood. Normalizing the pressure. Yeah. Normalizing the pressure of modern motherhood. And so I just wanted to kind of, for any moms out there, again, my passion is just that moms will see different ways of carrying all of the load and of wearing all of the hats. And all of these are my choice. I've made the choice to be an entrepreneur. I've made the choice to travel. I could say no to all of these opportunities, but I just decided, hey, what does it look like to say yes to all of these things and to try different things? So I'll pause there and we can kind of talk through it, but that's kind of just the travel map of the past like 6 weeks or so.
So do you have off the top of your head how many individual trips you took over the last 6 weeks? Because it sounds like about 1,600.
Yeah, no, I know I don't. Well, and it's kind of weird because like one of, the big chunk was that 8 days at the
Yeah,
beginning,
yeah,
which
Yeah.
yeah, it's like interesting because like had our client not had the retreat thing, I don't know, would I have flown home and probably flown
Yeah.
home and then flown back, which would have been super inconvenient, but probably what I would have prioritized to see Iris. But that was cool because our spouses got to come to the retreat.
yeah,
And so that was so what we did there was we flew my mom. So now we can kind of get into the tactics of like how did I do it? So I flew out. I was gone. We like, flew my mom down Tuesday night. I left Wednesday. So my mom and Elliot were here Wednesday, Thursday together. Elliot flew out Thursday. He got there Thursday night. So she was with her Mimi here in Houston, for Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night. So 4 nights. And that was, we didn't even realize it at the time. That was the longest Elliot and we've only ever done one overnight, and it was locally where she hasn't been with us, and that's not on purpose. Like
sure.
it's not like, oh, we're so sad to leave her. I mean, of course it's sad, but like we were like, oh my gosh, this is the first time where it's been both of us gone out of town. And Anna,
Yeah.
yeah, that was the same way for you and Philip, right?
Yeah, that was the first time we've ever left Texas without her and for longer than 2 nights. Yeah, we normally will do 2 nights local somewhere. But yeah, that was our first time away.
Yeah. How did it feel for you guys?
Well, so Emmy broke her leg
yeah.
weeks before, or a week before we were leaving. So I was like, I don't even know if we can go. I know my parents can handle it, but they're taking her to her house and there's stairs. And how is it going to, the bath time is different. She can't swim, which is what they do a lot when they're together. So, but they, of course, they were great. And they were like, you've had broken limbs before and we took care of you. We can do this. You're going. This is fine. Everything's good. So their attitude about it was what helped me feel like I could leave and not have any concerns in the world, and they of course are good about sending pictures and checking in. And I know that it's 3 nights, even if she doesn't sleep, even if she's sad, I know that I'll come back refreshed. I will come back ready to hang out with her. And at the end of the day, it's 3 nights. So
Right.
yeah, it was amazing. I'm so glad that it all worked out. Cause it's a hard opportunity to pass up too. I mean, that was like to be with your friends and a team that I've never met in person before and to get to experience that in California. So yeah, so grateful that it worked out.
Yeah. For us, what we found was it was hard to like come down. I mean, it's always hard for me to and that was a unique situation because I was like working, but it's work that like doesn't feel like work because it gives me life. But then I'm still with those same people, but like not supposed to work for a weekend. But like,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like, kind of odd, but awesome at the same time. But Elliot even said like that first day, he was like, it's so weird to like, I'm still thinking about, because, we're very routine. So it's
Yeah.
like still thinking about like, okay, it's time for dinner time. Oh wait, I don't have to think about that. And like,
Yes.
oh, and like we don't have to set an alarm. That's super strange. And so yeah, I think for us a learning is, now knowing that it's gonna take us at least 24 hours. For me, I notice it's like day 2 when I start to kind of finally, which is ironic because usually that's like 1 or 2 days before we have to go back home.
Yeah.
To kind of feel like, okay, my nervous system has kind of calmed down a little bit. I'm feeling present. So what are some tools that maybe we could, like conversation cards or something like that we could kind of introduce earlier on to kind of get our brains out of the thinking about the checklist
Routine and
yeah. And talking about things that aren't Iris. Because
I know.
parents would always talk about that with like, or like you'd see it on movies, like where a couple goes on a date night and they don't know what to talk to each other about. And I was always like, that's so stupid. There's a zillion things to talk about. And now I'm like, I totally get it because that is so
100%.
the default. Yes.
Yeah. Well, and even so, I feel like because we've done this a couple of times, we normally do once a year, we'll go away together. I feel like we've started just like looking at the map of where we're going, even if it's Galveston, even if it's an hour away, and we're like, oh, what are the cool things? Or even if we're not going to do any of them, Philip's so good about that. He just pulled up the map of Palm Springs and he's like, oh, I didn't know such and such was so close by. And that just starts our dreaming and traveling and thinking. And then we're all excited and, and it was just
awesome.
like, so I feel like I hear you. And I feel like we probably talked about Emmy half the time, but the joy, I told Holly the first morning, I think that we woke up there, I woke up and I just had my little, Keurig coffee that they have in the hotel room on the porch, and it's like the mountains and the palm trees, and I'm just sitting there like reading, and I just started crying because I was so grateful, and I was like,
Yeah.
I miss Emmy, but also
Yes.
this is the best morning. I have time to
Yeah.
be present. What are all the things that I always wish I could do? The phone's going inside, and I'm just going to stare at the mountains and cry because I'm not going to get to do this for who knows how. It could be years before I do
Yeah.
this again. And just, appreciating the time for what it is and knowing so soon we're going to be back in reality and we won't
A
be out.
hundred.
So,
Yeah. Before you can even have a sip of coffee, you're like, I got to get this kid's breakfast prepped. Otherwise, they're going to be nipping
literally,
at my heels and I got to just get it done so I can enjoy the coffee. That was me.
literally.
Like, just get the hard-boiled egg slice and then you can
Yeah,
have coffee.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was good. And so, yeah, Anna, you and I can help keep each other accountable for doing that more.
Yeah.
Cause yeah, I mean, Iris is almost 2. So it was almost 2. And then I think, Emmy's 3.
4.
Or 4. Oh gosh, 4.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I know. I know.
Yes. So yeah, it's like, okay, how do we prioritize this, more moving forward? And that, yeah, I love that your parents responded in that way of like, you've had broken limbs and you survived. We took care. You're like, oh yeah.
But it sounds cool too that y'all got to be y'all got to benefit from the company that y'all are working with,
Yes.
allowing spouses, paying for the hotel. Like there's a lot of built in, which is awesome.
Oh my
Like,
gosh.
keep working for them and just, loop
Right.
me in when they have extra room in the budget. But I'm like, that's a gift. Like for y'all to say, yes, we're going to do this. Yes, we're going to take advantage of this. We're going to trust the caregivers at home, which I think is a whole word unto itself. Trust
Yeah.
the caregivers at home. The babies will be all right. Go away with yourself, your husband, whatever the situation allows for. It sounds like the juice is worth the squeeze to go forth.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And I'm going to send Tim this episode and because yeah, it is, I mean, so many people have said that of like, oh, what? That's
Yeah.
crazy that, that and how generous. It's like, yeah, because one of his values is generosity.
What a gift.
And he truly lives it out, and it's just incredible to be, a benefactor of that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
I have 2 questions that
Yes.
maybe will spark kind of what you talk about next, and you can pick either one. So one, I'm thinking about like ways to prepare for when you are leaving that make you feel better to leave, whether that's like logistical or prepping your, caretakers or whatever that looks like. And then the other question I have, shoot, I lost it. Well, I want to hear about, your like mindset of experimentation. So
Yeah.
hear a couple of things that you tried and things that you want to do again and things that you're like, okay, I tried it and I'm not going to put that back on.
Okay,
Yeah.
I love that. Okay, logistically, this is good because I actually feel like I kind of stretched myself here and realized like the benefit of it. So the first thing is, and I have to challenge myself to do this every day as an entrepreneur, but like invest in people and systems that will help support you to do the work that drains you. And Anna, you are so much of that for me. So I think 2 things. One, I really did try to work ahead because I wanted to be fully present at those gatherings because I did do these gatherings when I was at my corporate job too. I was able to help, serve Leading Smart as a client and was full-time as CMO at the software company. And I never felt like I was able to be fully present. I feel like I was in front of the room facilitating, thinking about all of the emails and Slacks that were waiting for me and then vice versa. And so I kind of gave myself like, okay, what are all of the admin or like, computer work that I can do? And knowing that I had so much more travel. So for example, I knew I was going to be at that client in Missouri right after that other gathering. And I would not have time. And what I didn't want is to be up until like midnight every night after the gatherings, prepping for that next one. So I like scheduled the meetings with that client ahead of the gathering so that as much of that work was done and all I had to do was review it on the plane on the way to the thing. And so to have Anna there knowing that she was keeping an eye on my inbox, that she can handle, the majority of the things that are urgent or whatever as like air traffic control for me is so helpful.
Yeah.
So if you're an entrepreneur listening to this or you're a mom trying to do all of the things, like invest in that support. For me, it's administrative stuff, whatever that looks like for you, to help you be able to go away and not have to work a zillion hours all the time around the clock. And then working ahead, like using it. I work really well on deadlines. And so to give myself that deadline of like, the deadline is before I get on that plane on Tuesday and I'm gone for 8 days to have this, and this prepped. So from a work perspective, that, and then from a personal perspective, I created an Apple Note, which Anna, you're the queen of this, but I hadn't really done that since she's been a toddler. I think we created that for like when my mom stayed overnight locally, but she was still on a bottle and, you know.
Yeah. Yep.
So I kind of just created, I think I called it like the Tate house because our dog also is high maintenance, poor thing. So anyway, it was basically like the Tate house playbook. And I just like that Tuesday night when my mom got here, I was like, okay, what questions do you have? Da, 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 and like put together a playbook. And so now we have that Apple Note that we could just send anybody an update as it needs. And we're not having to like reinvent the wheel every time.
Yep.
So that was also super helpful on the prep side. Yeah.
Yeah. Love that. Do you have anything that you would add,
the
Meredith?
experiment?
But
Sorry,
yeah, I do want to talk about that. But Meredith, if you like, you know, if you've left Ethan and like what you've done to prepare, or
I have not. I have not left the angel.
That's
Yes.
fair.
I'm going
You'll do a lot
to
of family travel, or like you
Yeah.
travel with him a lot.
Yes.
That's
I
totally
haven't
good.
yet. I will soon. You know, I sort of feel like this is a separate conversation from travel, but my assessment is here are the things we have found to be helpful. Is it easiest for you if I put them in a note? Are you a pen and paper kind of person? What helps you as the caregiver feel like, nope, I need a whole list on my refrigerator so I can physically see it. That's totally fine. I'll handwrite it for you if you want me to. You like a shared note? I can do that. Here are the things we find helpful. Here's how we typically do things. Here's schedule. This is likely what's going to set you up for success. But also, as long as my kid is staying safe and healthy, go with God. You know, that's kind of my theology around it. And whatever makes it easiest on the caregiver is what's great. Here are some preferences, but also thanks for taking care of my kid. So
exactly,
that's what I got, you know?
I'm the same way.
That's a good point too. Cause like my mom is very like, she carries a notebook with her and a planner and so she was also kind of taking notes and writing things down that way. Another thing that I did that made me feel better, I honestly don't feel like my mom really needed this, but I sent a text. We have two best friends that also have toddlers that are buddies with Iris that live like a mile from us. So I sent both of them a text ahead of time, like a week before, and just said, hey, you know, my mom's going to be here twice over the night, you know, could y'all just, here's her phone number. And then I did the same thing with my mom. And I had in that Apple Note, like, here are their names, here's their phone number, you know, and that way, if she needed anything, they were prepared and on call and people who we fully trust and that Iris would feel totally safe with. That made me feel better. And then the other thing that was giving me anxiety was thinking about my mom driving the car with Iris in it for whatever reason. Just we live on a busy, like off of a busy street. I don't know. Houston's insane with traffic, blah. So I had my mom practice. Like I drove with her. She drove. I rode in the passenger seat. And also we have an electric car. So I don't know. I can see my hypervigilance. But yeah, it just made me feel better to like have her drive. And I drove her. There's a little place called Toddler Towns near us that I was like, also, this is a great place for you to know if you're at your wit's end, like it is open from 9 to 5 every day. You can take her here and get a break. Like, she loves this place. It's $15. God bless Toddler Towns in Houston, Texas. It's the best. So it was kind of like you're practicing driving the car and I want you to know this is here if you need it, you know?
That's
so that
awesome.
also helped me prep and feel better.
I think one thing I want to just piggyback on that is one thing I'm noticing about myself is that I certainly have preferences. There are like, I have my specific preferences of like the things I care about as a mom. We all have them. Like they're going to manifest differently for everybody. We all have them. The thing about when even when I brought Ethan with me this last week to Houston, to Kate's house, I said, hey, KK, humor my neuroses. I am a little bit neurotic because he's such an explorer, as all babies are. I'm a little bit neurotic about him sticking his hand in outlets. Can I be extra and bring outlet covers and just cover your outlets? And she said, no worries. And that for me gave me such peace of mind because he could get into other things. But if he crawled his little self around the hallway and we look up and we're like, where is that kid? The last thing I want is for the moment of like, oh my God, his hand's in an outlet. And that's my thing. So it's like, okay, if there's a thing that you are specifically concerned about safety-wise, the car thing or making sure your mom feels set up for success, it's like, hey, just humor me. This is not about you, caretaker. It's about my mental load so that I can be super present where I'm going. For
Yes.
me, it's the outlets. Can I just Amazon some outlet covers to your house and put them? Is that going to be okay? Thank you so much. Or can we drive the car before I leave? Like, I think those are totally fair. We can't have 100 of those, okay?
Yeah.
But we can have a couple. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah, that's so good. Or even
So good.
food. Like
Right.
if you
Yeah.
like you taking care of the load that of the things that you
100%.
care about. It's like if you want
Yes.
them to eat certain foods, send them a DoorDash or
Yes.
HEB deliver whatever.
Yes.
Deliver those foods for them or at least
Handle
make
it.
a list for them and be like, can
Yeah.
you please have these prepared at the house, depending on
Yeah.
your relationship. But yeah,
Sure.
just taking if you care, let it be known and take care of it if you can, you know?
Mm-hmm.
That's
And
good.
that's such good, Meredith. I love that you said it like that because yeah, for me, it's like the car and choking. Those are my
Yes.
So, and I've told my mom, like, hey, mom, she's probably fine with blueberries, but we had a moment, 6 months
Yeah.
ago that was terrifying. So my ask is chop up the blueberries. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like,
Yeah.
and I own it. I'm like, hey, I have, these two things give me anxiety.
Yeah.
Or another one was, and here I am saying, like, you're like, only have a couple. And I'm like, I have 15. Really, on our busy street. Yeah, it's like my 2 a.m. wake ups where where your brain is just going with like illogical
Yes.
anxiety is that she's
Yes.
gonna run into this crazy street that we live off of. And
Yeah.
so, me communicating that to my mom and then her being able to say, we walked to school today and we actually cut through and went on the grass is like just
Aw.
so ways that she knows she can care for me,
Yes.
in those pieces that I do have running in my brain.
Yeah.
It gets out ahead of it. It says, I acknowledge this is my thing. I mean, they're valid. I'm not saying that we're crazy. It's
Oh, well,
perfectly
yeah.
normal to be thinking about choking in electricity. Like, of course. And it's to me relationally nice to say, hey, I know you're watching them anyway. This is not about you. It's just going to help me
Yeah.
because versus me texting, he's not sticking his hand in an outlet, is he? He's
Yeah.
is he? It's like, okay, it's actually going to help me and help you so that I'm not texting all the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, oh my gosh, like leave us alone. We're fine. It helps me leave you alone if I
Yes.
just cleared the cobwebs ahead of time.
Yeah.
Yes,
Totally.
yes. Ah,
Totally.
so good.
Yep.
And I've been thinking a lot about, in life about this concept of readiness, my company being called the Ready Network. And when you think about Get Mom Ready, like Meredith, what I hear you say is just like in your encouragement about part of the readiness is the preparation and preparing so that you can prepare yourself to be fully present means preparing those that you're asking to help you. It's so good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So I do want to, oh yeah, go ahead, Anna.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to hear about your experiments.
Yes. So the first one was just like realizing the amount of mom guilt that we have on that, like, is based on other people's, what we are afraid other people's perceptions are going to be on us. So being gone for 8 days, for me personally, I feel like 75% of me was like, that's fine. She's very well loved. She has a very capable and loving father. We have an we are so spoiled with our setup that her daycare is literally on our street. Like, my mom, what joy that she gets to have special Mimi time, that,
Yeah.
all of the things. Yet there was still like 25% of me that was afraid of what people were going to think. And I did even experiment. Like, one of my clients was like, kind of like, oh, wow. Because I was in a very, an area where they're probably not used to seeing a lot of moms traveling, especially a mom with a toddler traveling across the country to come see them. And so it was interesting. Like, some of the comments that I got was like, oh, you have kids? Where? Somebody said, who is she with? I'm like, her father.
Literally.
So anyway, just, I guess, like, I was finding myself constantly having to remind myself of, I'm trying this out. Maybe I will feel like 8 days was too long, but I won't know until I try it. And I can
Right.
change my mind. Like, I kept just saying, like, I can try things and I can change my mind.
Yep.
And so then, because the intention was not originally to take her to Florida with me at the end of February. And so then when I was gone for 13 days out of 21, and I kind of looked at that and I was like, man, what would it? Oh, and the other piece was she's about to turn 2, which is where you have to pay for your kiddos to fly. And so I was like,
Yeah.
okay, this is kind of my last opportunity to experiment with this for free because we had points to fly my mom down. My hotel was covered. So it was like a great, not a burden financially for me to try this.
Yeah.
Rather than, I feel like, fast forward even 6 months from now, it would have cost a big chunk of money to have this quote experiment,
Yeah.
So anyway, so then to be able to say, hey, what would it look like for me to, and yeah, to be able to experiment with bringing Iris with me. And so I think, Anna, that was it, of reminding myself of like, am I feeling this mom guilt because I actually think this is a bad idea? Or am I afraid of what people will think
Mm,
and trying to sort through that?
mm.
And then just telling myself that I can change my mind, which I did, and decided to bring Iris with me at the end of February.
Which,
Mm.
when you brought her with you, she
Uh-huh.
got the flu.
Yep. So yeah, I want to talk all
So,
about that.
yeah, talk about it.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, you guys, that Tuesday and Wednesday was like my dream. Like I was on a high. I was like, I mean, the flight over there was the opposite of your experience on Sunday, Meredith. It was like, I mean, we had the whole road to ourselves, which was such a
Yeah.
treat. She did really well. Um, I mean, I bought this. So, oh, here's another like little tip of like a thing I learned that I didn't really realize, but now looking back. And you kind of already said this, Meredith, but like if to try to know ourselves well enough to be able to know what's important to us. And for me, it's feeling weight through the traveling part. So like
Ah.
so for example, I was like the thought of lugging a car seat
Right.
through the airport by myself with Iris, who loves to just run off and not listen to me when I say, Iris, come back. We're in that phase. So it was like, I don't want to do that. So I bought this thing called a Safe Rider, which is basically, they look like, maybe we can put a photo in the show notes. But it basically looks like Iris is about to go skydiving. Like it's kind of this like souped up harness that it's like a portable car seat. And so
Yeah,
it's like,
I know them. They're amazing. Everyone needs to know about these. Every
it
single
is
person traveling needs to know about these. It's
It is
unbelievable.
amazing. Unbelievable. Yeah. And it was, I practiced ahead of time, which I highly recommend, but it was super easy to use. And I'm so glad that I got that because, yeah, Tuesday and Wednesday were a dream. We get there. The room was incredible. This was another thing. So my room, the base standard room was covered, but I did pay to upgrade our room to a suite from my own personal money because I wanted to make sure that, because again, this is like what's important to you, right? I knew it was going to be really difficult for my mom to put her down for a nap and stay in the room. Iris would be like, what the heck are you doing here?
Totally.
Yeah.
So to
Yeah.
have a bedroom where my mom could close the door, white noise machine, all the things,
Yep.
and my mom could have a lovely experience in the living room during nap was important to me.
Yeah.
So yeah, so just things like that of like paying the money for the expensive Safe Rider. It's expensive. It's $170 like for the portable car
But
seat.
you're gonna have it for a long time.
You are. And just again, the mental load, right? To just know that like it folds up in this little bag, I can throw it in my bag, it's there. And same thing with the suite. So let's see. And then okay, yeah. So Tuesday was our dream. Wednesday, they take the little shuttle over to the aquarium. They had a great day. They came back. I texted my mom and I was like, on a scale of 1 to 10, how was it? And she was like, a 10. And I'm like, oh my God, what a dream. I can be like the present working mom here doing my favorite thing. And my mom and Iris are doing great. And then she put Iris to bed that night. I went to the dinner, like had a glass of wine. I come back, I'm like, how did it go, mom? She's like, great. It was amazing. Well, Wednesday night at 1 a.m., Iris wakes up crying. And I walk over. She's like standing in her crib crying at me because she can see that I'm laying in the,
Yeah. Yeah.
the bed. And there was throw up all over her crib. And
Angel.
yeah. And so after like the third time in an
Oh,
hour, I was like,
honey.
okay. And then she threw up a fourth time in an hour and a half. I was like, because, in those moments, I don't know about you guys, and I think I've talked about this before, but my anxiety when she is sick that was the most surprising thing to me in motherhood. Her being sick, I feel like I get paralyzed. Like people are like, what does your mom intuition say? I'm like, I don't know what is mom intuition and what is anxiety. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Fear. Yeah.
Yes. So anyway, we just decided to go ahead and so she's got her again. So glad I had the Safe Rider, the car seat thing, portable car seat, because we get in an Uber and it's me and my mom and Iris in an Uber at 2 a.m. on the
Yeah.
way to the ER. And
Oh my
but even in
gosh.
all of that, it was like there were so many good things. Like there was zero traffic, which even our Uber driver was like, I'm so shocked. It was a little chilly that night, and which was weird in Tampa, Florida. So he's like, I don't know if it's the cold or what, but like, we were able to zoom right to the ER. There was nobody in the ER. So anyway, and then I was so glad they did the swab thing and they came back and were like, yep, it's flu B. I was immediately felt relief. And
Yeah.
it's in those moments where I'm like, why did I even question taking her in? Like
Mm.
because once I get that clarity, I just feel like, okay, now we've got a game plan,
Yeah.
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 Exactly.
So that was just another reminder, which is how I feel every time I take her to urgent care or whatever. Like,
Yep.
always better to, you know, take her in and feel better about it, whatever. So anyway, so Wednesday, my mom kind of stayed with her. I was able to come back for during lunch, and then I skipped the dinner that night to be with her because she did end up having a fever that night. And there were hiccups, like the resort. We had to change rooms because they wouldn't let us do a late checkout, even though I was trying so hard to like appeal to the like my daughter is sick thing. But they let us change rooms, and so she was able to get a nap in and all of that before we went to the airport. So yeah, but here's the thing. What I realized through all of that is I am still glad that I did it because I wanted to learn. I wanted to see. And the worst, maybe not the worst case scenario, but like one of the things that you would put in the cons list is, her getting sick while you're gone. But I'm so glad that it happened when I was with her and my mom was with me, because if it had happened here, I mean, Elliot would have done an amazing job, but I would have felt like, okay, do I need to get on a plane immediately? Do I not? Like, I feel like I would not have been able to be fully present knowing that he was having to care for her alone here.
Yeah.
And so I'm glad that I was able to be there, check in, all of the things. So yeah, so that was, challenging, but it all worked out. And also what a privileged place to be in this like resort hotel with like the view did not suck. Even though the situation sucked, I was like, how grateful that I get to be in this incredible hotel room, even though she's throwing up everywhere.
Yeah.
So yeah.
The cleanup in those moments is always the most overwhelming. I'm like, where to begin? And how shall we clean this up? Okay.
Right.
All right. Just gonna have to pack it up with dried throw up that didn't all fully get clean. You know what I mean? You're like, awesome.
Yeah.
Especially, you're like, when you're kind of by yourself, you're like, do I do you first? But you're probably going to throw up again.
I know.
But you can't just sit in this.
I know.
It's so sad. I know.
It's really sad. Poor baby. Well, you made it on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what you said, I did this so that I could learn. What did you learn? Like, yay, nay, what are like the, okay, for sure doing this again. And what are the, I'll do this differently next time, if any.
Yeah. I mean, I think and I know maybe it's psychotic, but like, I just love to prove to myself that I can do hard things. Like I always feel so good on the other side of it to be like, we did it and came out on the other side. And, so yeah, I think just proud of myself and like the learning that like, and that also kids are so resilient. Like even with her having the flu, she, it was great. Like she, I don't know, kids are so much more. I'm saying this for myself as someone who is a very rigid scheduled mom, that like they're way more flexible and resilient and whatever than I think I think.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing I think is like to maybe don't sell your support system short. And like you said this too, Anna, with like your parents being like, it's fine. Like let people help you. Like my mom was so grateful to help and willing to help. Elliot being so supportive to let me go on all these trips and be like, very excited to hold down the fort while I'm away. My friends, like texting them that they were willing to be on call, like call in your village.
Yeah.
Because we all were designed to live in community and we need that and ask for help. And I think people are way more willing to help than we give them credit for. Yeah. Those are the things that come to mind.
I love it.
I love it too. That's good.
Thanks.
That's really good, Holly.
This was a long episode. For those of you that listen to this whole thing, ooh, I hope it was helpful. That was a lot of me talking. I'm like looking at the clock. I'm like, that was long.
No, I think it was helpful. Okay. Is there anything related to travel or travel adjacent, or honestly, the theme? I think really what I heard you saying, Holly, was whether it's travel or anything else, again, in this conversation, the context was travel, but how can we set ourselves up for success? How can we set caretakers up for success in our absence? Yeah, just what is going to help us feel present to whatever it is that we are on our way to do? And I think that bigger question in creating a little plan for yourself, whatever that looks like, and, tapping in your resources, it all matters.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And
it
also,
really
I love the spirit of experimentation. I want to take that into way smaller things than travel. I can be so rigid with scheduling and not even just for her, but for myself, which then translates to the whole family. So I love that. And I'm going to think about where I can try that. So that's awesome.
Yay.
Well, if you listen to this podcast and it resonated, let us know. Respond back on Instagram, send us a DM, or reach out to us. Remind me, Anna, the best way to do that if they don't do it through Instagram.
If it's not through Instagram, then you can email us at info@thereadynetwork.com.
Okay, info@thereadynetwork.com. And while you're emailing us, because I know you're all just jumping on your phones to email us, we are always open to feedback, to comments, to, hey, talk more about this, or hey, can you, I think it'd be cool if you discuss this. Let us know. We'd love to hear from you. We are really just loving these conversations and growing this community. So subscribe, share with your people on social, and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. And thanks for being here. We value your time. And thanks again. So we will see you, or you'll hear us next week.
If you have a favorite denim outfit, send it to us.
Oh yeah,
That's
we
right.
forgot to say that. Denim day. This was accidental denim day.
Denim day.
And Meredith, sorry. I talked to 2 moms last week who were at a breaking point with work and life and motherhood not working the way that they wanted it to. And so just want to encourage everyone and remind you that we offer coaching through our Get Mom Ready community.
Yeah.
And so if you're feeling stuck, or maybe you're in a place where you're like, okay, I'm doing great, but I know that growing into this next level, I'm going to need some help. We would love to talk to you. So you can do that on getmomready.com, click book a discovery call or book a coaching call, and you can get some time on our calendars.
Yes, you can choose your coach, and we'll make sure it's all a good fit. So, okay. Thanks everybody.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.